Hey guys, it's Cost, and today I'll be going over the Thunder Strikers and building each one based on my preferences. These are just my suggestions and opinions and what I use, so keep that in mind. Let's get started. First off, I want to acknowledge the fact that I am considering a 4-man front including Carpula, Guinevere with her ace, and Veronica. I am also judging strikers in a mono Thunder team. With that in mind, let us begin with the first striker. A legend player and a well-known striker in mono Thunder teams, Leventor. He is best able to go striker for Thunder, and combined with a Carpula active, a Leventor should have no problem one-shotting Presties under 3k health and other dark goalkeepers, any light goalkeepers, and one-shotting any other goalkeepers usually. Leventor's kit is built around dealing damage, tons of it, mostly from dealing crits. He has a lot of built-in crit in his kit, especially when he uses his active. Looking at his skills, they are all useful to him, so it is recommended that you 7-star him. If you don't though, and run as level 60 MSPU Leventor, the skill order would be 5535. This way he is losing the least amount of damage. Taking a look at stones, he has 2 blue slots and a dark slot. The dark is a bit awkward, but isn't all too bad. For the unique, I run Shot or Shaking Heart of Thunder. Shot just gives you much more of the stats that Leventor thrives off of, which is crit rate and crit damage. You can also run Glab or Glaberis if you really need the penetration. But with Guinevere and her ace, you shouldn't be under 100, usually even with Durin in their backline. For the other blue slot, I recommend a blue receiving pass for the extra crit rate. Moving on to the dark slot, you can either go crit damage or receiving pass. If you reroll the slot and get a green or red slot, you can go for a green pen or red crit damage. Now looking back at the dark slot though, I personally go with the crit damage, but with the extra action bar recovery from dark receiving pass might be something you are more interested in. Now for the prism slot, you should be running a crit damage stone. It is just such a good stone with extra damage being inflicted on the target, and it's a crit damage stone, and more crit for Leventor is always welcome. For teamwork, any offensive stat is good, so crit rate, crit damage, penetration, attack power. Taking a look next at Vann. Vann I've used before and he can definitely do work. He is weaker than the other 2 strikers that are covered in this video, but it's because he's a utility striker. With utility strikers, you are aiming to shoot multiple times, amping your damage with each shot using your active. This can be a bit troublesome though for a mono Thunder team because you are glass cannon more than anything, and faster you finish off the goalkeeper, the better. That being said, Vann is a decent pick. He buffs the line with attack power and critical damage. He is also decently fast as he recovers his action bar every 2 minutes. Looking at Vann's stones, he has 2 blue slots and a red slot. For his unique, Shard of Bellman is his go-to unique, but that requires you to reroll his stone slots. If you don't have a light slot, you can opt with a shot or a glab. Shot synergizes with Vann's active and allows him to crit more and deal more damage. Glab is also a decent choice as he won't be hitting 100% pen with a shoot, especially with Durin in the backline. I ran Glab when I used Vann, just so he could have enough penetration to deal with 70 to 80% damage reduction goalkeepers. As for his other blue slot, I would run a receiving pass, then double crit damage reds for his red slot and prism slot. Looking at his skills, for a level 60 MSP Vann, run 5535. He isn't really worth 7-starring unless you really want him to be fast as fuck boy. And again for teamwork, any offensive stat is good on him. Our last striker we are taking a look at is Griffith. Griffith is a high damage dealing striker almost as good as Leventor. The thing that sets her away from Leventor though is her skill of Wind Vanquisher. More precisely, it increases the damage dealt to Whirlwind players by 35%. This completely negates the elemental advantage when it comes to taking less damage. She ends up dealing more damage than Leventor to Whirlwind goalkeepers because of that skill. Looking at her stone slots, she has a blue slot and 2 green slots. Now when using Griffith, you may not want to use Guinevere's ace, and here's why. If you use Gwyn ace, you are gaining more pen but less crit damage and crit rate. If you use Griffith ace, you have more of those two. It's based on personal preference really. So the unique to run on her is going to be Shot or Glab for both Gwyn and Griffith ace. Now looking at her 2 Whirlwind slots, they should be Whirlwind crit damage and Whirlwind pen. And for the Prism, run a blue receiving pass. If you want to run Shot with Griffith ace, you can replace the blue receiving pass with another Whirlwind pen stone. Now moving on to her skills, a level 60 MSPU Griffith should be 5355. She isn't a priority for 7-starring, but you totally could for the extra attack power. Finally, teamwork can be any offensive stat. That concludes my guide to each Thunder Striker that is viable. I hope you found this helpful and have a wonderful day.